Hey guys, good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Well, I had planned to shoot a video on succession planting tulips today, but I just got a notification on my phone that my big order of perennial bulbs is here. So I'm gonna have to make a slight change because whenever my perennial bulbs come in, the ones that bloom in summer that is, I like to get the lilies planted right away and also any bare root perennials that I've ordered. So let's go gather those from the porch and let's plant at least some lilies together because I know I did a video on all the lily varieties that I'm going to be adding this year. And yeah, hopefully this change of plans is good, and I'll still do that video on succession planting tulips in the very near future. You know, it's so crazy because I just walked around the garden with you guys 2 days ago and already so much more is in bloom and just changing faster than I can photograph and film it. But I guess that's just the way it goes this time of year, and it's been really hot here, so of course everything is opening up really quickly. Well, here they are. These are all my lilies, gladiolas, dahlias, bare root perennials, and a grace. So I'm gonna take a little time here to get changed into a more practical outfit and get my hair pulled back and all that jazz. And then I'll separate the lilies out from everything else, and I'll at least plant a few different varieties with you today. Before we go in, I noticed that my Delnishaw is blooming here in the lawn. This one was actually just laying on the ground. It looks like somebody took a bite of it, but here it is. Isn't it beautiful? Gorgeous ivory and peach layering on Delnishaw. And here's a look at yellow cheerfulness, because I don't think this one was blooming the other day, and it's just started. These are just really sweet and dainty, small buttery yellow daffodils. And I just have them interplanted here in between these junipers. So the first thing I like to do when I have a big order come in like this is to take everything out of the boxes and reconcile it with my order slips, just so I make sure everything is here, everything is of good quality. That way I'm not finding out 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now that something just isn't up to standard or something is missing. I want to find out on the day that the order arrives that everything's here and is looking good. So there's a lot of lily bulbs to be planted today, but I think what I'll film is Eastern Moon and Alberta Morning. I'm most excited about those lilies, and they're in positions where the soil's already worked, so it'll be real easy for me to turn my camera on and off without getting everything really dirty. Now, most bulbs have a protective covering called a tunic. When you look at a tulip, you see that protective covering that's brown covering the white tulip that's underneath, but lilies do not have that protective covering. Neither do the Fritillaria rubra maxima. And with that being said, things like lilies and Fritillaria, I plant immediately upon receiving them from the supplier. Also, especially with lilies, it's really hard to hold them at the correct temperature. And if I have a year where I want to succession plant lilies, I actually work that out with my supplier in advance and receive separate shipments rather than receiving all my lilies at once and trying to hold them at the right temperature. I leave that up to my supplier, who knows how to do that way better than I do. So I want to plant the Eastern Moon right at the entrance to the garden. I'm going to do it in kind of a nice big drift. And my hope here is that when you walk into the garden come mid-July, this whole area will just be filled with that beautiful lily fragrance. And I love the color also for this area as well. And I do have a bulb succession over here. It's Pueblo first, then alliums, then I have verbena, the perennial verbena in there also. And now I'll have these lilies to help me out also. I got them all planted and mulched up. Of course, we're in southern PA and we're expecting rain today, so I won't even bother watering them in. They'll be just fine. I think what I'm actually going to plant next is the species lily called Black Beauty, because that one can reach heights of 6 feet, and I'm going to kind of scatter it through Grace's garden and scatter it through the hydrangea room. So let's do that next. And look at the difference in the trees today versus 2 days ago. We've got this beautiful summer Rambo apple leafing out and it's getting its blooms. The cherries are in full bloom, and there in the distance hanging down is the pear. Just beautiful. So I went ahead and scattered the Black Beauty lilies all around. You can see they're just interspersed here in between the hostas and the daffodils. And I did the same thing over here in the hydrangea room. And just to echo that planting, I did some back here as well. Well guys, I think I'm going to wrap up the video here. I have about 250 more lilies to plant and I kind of just need to get after it. As always, I want to wish you an absolutely wonderful day out in your gardens, and I'll see you back here sometime soon. Bye!